Okay, so this is Biotechnology Part 2. This is your student presentation. So you should have already made a copy of this Google slideshow. And as I go through the lecture, you should be annotating at a minimum what I annotate. So what I highlight, you should highlight. But this doesn't stop you from doing more. Or if you have a question, making a comment so that you know to ask me at some point before your test. So let's get to it. So just a reminder of the things that you were responsible for. We are still going to be going back to those bioethical questions. So in the back of your head, you should always be thinking about what are the pros and what are the cons, and just because we can, should we? So you should be watching the whole lecture. You should be annotating. When I tell you to pause and watch a video, you should be doing that too. Just a reminder, these are your AKS. These are the things that you will be tested on in about a week. So make sure that before your test, you know how to do these things. So let's get to it. This particular presentation is going to cover gene therapy, stem cell therapy, recombinant DNA, and cloning. And we're going to actually start with cloning. Since we read an article about it, let's start there. So a clone is a group of individual cells or organisms that come from a one parent cell. So the important details here is that all of the DNA comes from one donor or one parent cell. And because of this, because DNA only comes from one, all clones are going to be genetically identical to one another, and they are also going to all be genetically identical to the donor parent cell. All right, so clone is going to come from one parent cell. Let's go ahead and highlight that. And also let's highlight that they are genetically identical. So we are going to talk about cloning individuals. We're going to use the example of Dolly the sheep, and we are also going to talk about recombinant DNA. So we're going to start with Dolly, since we read an article about her. So here are the steps in more detail. Be able to recognize this diagram and also be able to go through the steps. This is a little bit offset. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Oop, I don't know if it wants to move. Just kidding. I don't really want to do that. Okay, so let's talk about Dolly, for example. So this is a clone. So remember I said it comes from one parent or donor. This is not a result of sexual reproduction. There is not a situation where a sperm is going to fertilize an egg. In fact, in Dolly's case, there was no sperm at all, and there was an alteration to the egg. Remember that Dolly's cloning was significant, not because she was a clone, because they had done that already, but because she came from an adult body cell. Okay, so she came from a sheep's udder, which is the mammary gland, an adult body cell, not an egg. Okay, so the DNA comes from a somatic body cell. That's where it comes from. Okay, and then a separate sheep donates an egg that basically becomes a vessel. They take out the DNA from the egg, and so the egg is just an empty, like a cup, basically. Okay, all right, so the DNA is removed from a separate egg cell. And then we use electricity to fuse those two cells together and also trick it into thinking it's a fertilized zygote. So again here, there is no reproduction, no sexual reproduction. That is not what we're doing here. So I'm going to highlight that because it's important. No sexual reproduction. Okay, and the two cells are fused, and they are only, I'm going to highlight this whole thing. The new egg cell only contains the donor DNA. So the DNA from the udder, Okay, so then they take the developing embryo, it starts to act like an embryo, it starts to divide. It's placed in a surrogate womb of a different sheep, and eventually it develops, it gives birth, and voila, we have Dolly. And the cloned organism is identical to the donor. So in this case, Dolly was identical to the sheep that gave the udder, not the sheep that gave the egg that was then emptied. All right. So be able to sort of identify the different stages here. This is supposed to be circling around, but the nucleus of the egg cell was removed so that you understand where the DNA is coming from, only from one sheep. All right. So that's cloning. That's probably the easiest one that we're going to do, but I've tried to make recombinant DNA a little bit simpler than it is. All right. So recombinant DNA sounds a lot like recombined, and that's exactly what it is. Recombinant DNA is DNA from two different species. It's been taken apart and then it's been recombined back together. And why would we do that? Well, we do that to create transgenic organisms. So remember, transgenic is an organism that has DNA from at least two different organisms, in this case, two different species. And we do this so that the transgenic organism is going to have cells that express a particular trait that it didn't have before. So sometimes it's silly, like glow in the dark cats, but sometimes it's significant and important. Take a diabetic person who does not produce insulin, and they receive gene therapy and recombinant DNA, and that gene that they get is a gene that produces insulin. And so now, instead of having to take medicine and shots and all those kinds of things, the body is able to produce that insulin. So let's highlight a few things here. So the joining together of DNA from two different species, let's highlight that. Okay. And so we're going to go through the steps, and then we're going to actually look at the next slide that has a picture, a diagram of these steps, and you're going to need to know some of these words. So when we recombine from two species, we're going to take a fragment. All right, so you take a fragment of the DNA and you insert it into a plasmid. So you're going to need to know what a plasmid is. It's shaped like a circle. It contains DNA. It's found in a bacteria. Okay. We use bacteria because bacteria replicate, make copies of itself really quickly, like every 20 minutes. And so if you are going to make a medicine, we're going to use this recombinant DNA as a medicine, you would want to be able to make a lot of medicine in a really short period of time. Okay. And the awesome thing about bacteria is that it can also be used as a vector. All right. So bacteria are vectors or carriers that are inserted into the host organism. That's a lot of fancy language there. So you need to know that vectors are carriers. So you take that recombined DNA that's inside the bacteria all replicate asexually and make exact copies of one another. And so they all have that recombinant DNA. And then you can take that bacteria and you can put it into a new organism and create those transgenic organisms. So if you did the gizmos with genetic engineering, that's what they did. They put that bacteria, the plants took it up into the cells, and then each new cell that the plant made now carries that trait, expresses that trait of the transgenic recombinant DNA characteristics. So it's to make medicine, improve crops, clean up oil spills. We use recombinant DNA for all sorts of reasons. So here's the picture. You're going to see this diagram or one that's very much like it on your test. So some of the things that you are going to need to know is you are going to be able to recognize that this is the process of recombinant DNA biotechnology. You need to know what it is, so taking apart and putting back together, that it creates transgenic organisms. You need to know what a plasmid is. The plasmid is this circle of DNA. See how it's in here in the bacteria. Okay, it is separate from the bacteria's other DNA. It's a separate thing. Okay, and you also need to know that the bacteria can be used as a vector, and then it can be inserted in an organism. All right, so the diagrams on this presentation are going to be pretty important. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to pause here, and I would like you to watch the recombinant DNA to produce insulin video. So again, this is an example. The problem is that the body does not produce insulin. The solution is going to be this recombinant DNA that then allows the body to produce insulin. So go watch the video, come back when you're done. All right, so recombinant DNA can be used in gene therapy, which sounds a lot like what it is. It's using recombinant DNA to fix genes that aren't working or are missing. Often gene therapy will be used, the vector will be not bacteria necessarily, but an inactive virus. Take a look at this diagram. You have the healthy gene, you snip the gene and you put it into the virus vector, and then you infect the person with an inactive virus, so we're not giving them a disease, and then that virus replicates inside the body carrying this gene that's going to fix the problem. Okay, so we're going to highlight gene therapy uses genes to treat or prevent disease. Okay, it's inserting the gene into the patient's cells, and the vector can be an inactive virus and bacteria. And you are going to pause and watch the very short gene therapy video, and then you're going to come back. We're almost done. All right. Stem cell therapy. This is the last therapy that we are going to talk about. Stem cell therapy works a lot like gene therapy. So I'm going to let you read through the 6 stages. You'll see that it kind of works the same way. But I want to talk a little bit about what stem cells are. Stem cells are called master cells, and you should think of them like modeling clay, all right, or Play-Doh, all right, and it can be sculpted into anything. They're sort of biologically magical cells. Stem cells are the precursor or the beginning stage cells to every cell in your body. So before you had skin cells and blood cells and heart cells and eggs and sperm, way back when you were just 1 cell, 2 cells big, and before your cells became specialized, they were stem cells. So in adults, there are a couple places where you can harvest stem cells for stem cell therapy. You can harvest them from the bone marrow. That's in your femur, your thigh bone is a good place to get bone marrow. It's very hard to do because your bones are hard. It's hard to get to it. It's in the center of your cells. Umbilical cord blood. So after babies are born, mothers will expel the placenta and the umbilical cord is cut, and that blood is rich in stem cells. So those are 2 places where we can harvest stem cells for stem cell therapy. And so one of the more important studies that they're doing is with some sickle cell anemia, treating it. And so what I would like you to do is stop here and watch the stem cell video. And I'm just going to highlight really quickly what stem cells are and then where they come from. But you need to make sure that you take a look at these 6 steps and that you recognize that diagram. All right, so after the video, we just got one more slide. It's about your quiz. So your quiz will open today at 2:30 and it will close on Friday morning at 7 a.m. So what does the quiz cover? It will cover the gizmos from genetic engineering. It will cover this lecture and the notes. It will cover the article that we read earlier, the Life of Dolly article. It will cover any videos that we've watched in the last 2 days. So where can you find the quiz? It will be on the calendar, and it will also be, I can say and, the biotechnology module, but it's only going to be active starting at 2:30 p.m. So you need to make a note, and you need to remember that it's there, and you need to take care of it before Friday at 7 a.m. You should take it as many times as you need to get a 100. Take care of your business. That's all.